Wagwan people, welcome to Nightcap with Erica, streaming to you live from Jamaica, sponsored by Mountain Matic. Seriously smooth. Tonight's episode is about some ladies that moved from the US and came into Jamaica, fall in love with the island. So kick back and get ready to enjoy Nightcap with Erica. One love. Wagwan people, welcome to Nightcap with Erica, streaming to you live from Jamaica, sponsored by Mountain Matic. Seriously smooth. Tonight's episode is about some ladies that moved from the US and came into Jamaica, fall in love with the island. So kick back and get ready to enjoy Nightcap with Erica. One love.
Tonight's episode is sponsored by Jamaica's own Mountain Matic Rum. Seriously smooth. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Welcome to Nightcap with Erica. I'm trying to be all high tech with my new microphone, but I don't know what I'm doing. My boyfriend did try to help me set it up, so much love to him. But we don't know what we're doing, so I don't know if you all can actually hear me and not. So put in the comments, let me know if you can hear me. If not, I'm just gonna unplug this mic and do it the good old fashioned way. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Nightcap with Erica. You know, my show is a fun and flirty late night talk show that celebrates everything from the righteous to the ratchet and all that's in between, from porn stars to uh, preachers and anybody else you can think of. We celebrate it and we welcome you and we love you here. I'm in Jamaica right now. I've been here as a tourist and a visiting person here for a couple months now. I had to get up out the US for a minute. Y'all already know why, because there's craziness going on. Although I am happy today that the inauguration of Joe Biden happened today and our girl Kamala. But yeah, I'm in Jamaica. I had planned on you all seeing the villa where I'm staying, but we had some technical difficulties and you can't really see the pool. Like I wanted to like front on y'all and style on y'all and show y'all how I'm living high style and guy behind me. So sorry about that. But I'll make sure on my next show when we get some of the kinks ironed that you'll see it. So yeah, loving y'all. Everybody saying I look good. Thank you. It's my tan. I didn't get to really put any makeup on or anything for y'all. But we here. We just gonna kick it and have a good time. Now listen, my show today is exciting because like I said, I've been in Jamaica now since September. I came here on a whim with my girl Hadia Robinson. Shout out to Hadia, stand-up comedian. Came here with her in September and just said we were gonna come and write because she writes for television and I want to get into TV writing. And we were like, we're just tired of everything from the police brutality to the carjackings in Chicago, just all the crazy stuff that was going on. We was like, let's get a break. Let's go away and just get away. And I said, girl, go to Jamaica. I'll go with you. I came here September 1st and then I stayed to October 1st. And then the day I was supposed to leave, I didn't want to go. I started crying. So I was like, fuck, I'm staying in Jamaica. So I extended my trip 2 weeks. And then I too long. So you get 6 months, I believe. But we'll talk more about that later. Anyway, and just water and eating mangoes and soursop, and been here. I have fallen in love with somebody, so the loving is good, and it's just life is. I'm just very, very happy. So today's show is about Black women from America here visiting. I'm on a tourist visa. Went away for a second. Sorry about that. Y'all, listen, y'all. I'm in Jamaica, which some people would say is maybe a third world country. I think of it as first world all the way. But the internet could be a little shoddy. So if I go away, I'll come right back. Y'all just chill. But yeah, today's show is celebrating other Black women who made their BLAXIT and all came to Jamaica. Some are like me, visiting tourists, just trying to see how things go here and figure things out to make a major stay. And others have been here for 12, 13 years, living here in the land of the sun. And I'm telling you, the life here is so beautiful. There are obstacles just like there are anywhere. But I have to tell y'all, I have been getting my life here. And now, since the stereotype is that American women come here on some old Stella got a groove back stuff, right? To just sleep with all the fine, sexy boys in Jamaica. I wanted to talk to some women about that, like what their experience has been. I don't feel like I'm Stella because I ain't have to get my groove back. I hadn't necessarily lost my groove necessarily, but the groove I have here is nice. It's groovy. It's real groovy. Anyway, we're gonna talk to them, but before we do that, I want to bring on somebody that is very special. Y'all know how I love supporting Black businesses and everything, and also female driven, female owned businesses. And while I was here in Jamaica, I was asking around, asking people if they knew about a liquor company, because y'all know I drink during the show. So I hope y'all got y'all cocktails ready. If you are sipping on your nightcap with me, let me know what you are drinking. Here's mine. I'll tell you more about it later. Isn't this gorgeous? It's all sexy. Yeah. But and then actually had mentioned it to my boyfriend. He's like, I know some people. I know a Black woman here in Jamaica that owns her own rum. And I was like, what one? What? She owns her own rum. Actually sponsoring my episode tonight and probably the other episodes that I will be doing here in Jamaica. This and it's all these other major brands. I think it's awesome. So I wanted to bring her on and talk to her about how she started her company, how this all went down, and the feeling is of the rum. Jamaica's making live or die they rum, baby. So if you come in with a rum company, you got to come with it. And she had me. And if I have anything to do with it, it's gonna be that I'm rum. It's seriously flavors. They have the gold, they have the white overproof, the white rum, and then they also have the rum punch. This is a sample. Look at the label, it's so cute. It's so cute. Ladies, the rum punch is really sexy too. Once you feeling like Stella for real. If you ain't know who is the owner of Matic Rum.
Hi.
Hello. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Now, just to tell you all a little secret, she's actually with me at my villa set up somewhere separate from me. So the goal was to have us together to sit and talk, but we had to separate. So hey friend, listen, tell everybody you have me drinking.
Could you repeat that for me, Erica?
Huh? Oh, sorry. I said, tell everybody what you made for me right here. What am I drinking?
Okay, that's a cocktail with.
What am I drinking right now?
It's Mountain Matic overproof rum with mango and a pineapple. Yummy, right?
This is so good. Like, for real. Okay, so tell everybody. Tell me, what is Mountain Matic rum? Tell me about the
All right, so Mountain Matic rum, it's first of all, seriously smooth. Mountain Matic rum captures the true spirit of Jamaica. The movement of the people, the beauty of the people, the resilience of the people, the sexiness of the people. And I'm wearing black tonight. Yeah, here we go, representing Black women. Hi, Erica.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, I'm sorry.
Listen, but your drink puts people in that good feeling, and I love your energy. I feel like you bottled up your personality and your beauty and your sexiness and put it in a bottle, right?
For sure.
Yes, and look at it's so good. So that's the rum punch right there. Tell me about the rum punch flavor.
All right, so rum punch, it's just, ladies, it's a female's favorite here. So talk about exotic, talk about sexy, talk about smooth. It has a buzz, it has a jazz, awesome with cracked ice, and just chilled. Having girls' night out, way to go. Rum punch. Authentic.
Yes. Okay, so show me. Yeah, so the gold. What's that about?
The gold.
The gold. It looks magical. It looks like it's worth a lot of gold. And it tastes so good. Let me ask you.
Yes, definitely.
Tell us about the gold.
So this is the gold and the green grass. Our gold rum, it has a distinctive flavor. It kicks the taste buds instantly. It's aged in oak barrels, a little bit under 5 years. And my favorite with this is orange juice or pineapple juice. It's just, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So listen, and then yes, go ahead. Now I know, like my brother, other men in my life, like they live and die by like the white rum. So when you decided on the flavors with the gold, the rum punch, and then the white, were you considering that, thinking about which type of person really enjoys a certain kind of taste when it comes to their rum?
Really, yes. And first, let me just say, our white overproof rum, we are rum country. You know, this is Jamaica, and we produce finest rum. So from the sugarcane to your cup, yeah, this is Mountain Matic White Overproof Rum, 63% alcohol content, exceptionally, seriously smooth. No joke about that.
Seriously.
So it's easy on the palate. It's easy on the lips, the tongue, the throat. So, and even for the hangovers and the headaches that people tend to get from, the white overproof, this is so smooth that it sweeps away all that kind of stuff. So,
are you serious?
Serious, like seriously
smooth. Seriously smooth. And if something is smooth, that means that you won't get the hangover. And listen, I don't really drink that much, but I do know that when I drink cheap liquor, when I drink cheap rum, I end up doing bad things. Now, I end up with a hangover and toe up. But with this, I still might do something a little naughty because it is sexy, but it's so smooth when it goes down. Like I can drink this and still be a lady the next day, when I do the walk of shame in the morning. I could still feel like a nice woman. It just, y'all can see how yummy this is and how it looks. It looks really good. I'm showing y'all my. I didn't get my nails done.
It's delicious. So
how does a woman start her own rum brand? Like, how did you do this?
Yes.
I know the story's probably long, but just a short version. Like, for one, what inspired you to do this? Like, did you just wake up one day and was like, you know what? I'm tired of buying everybody else rum. I'm gonna make me some rum.
So, like I said before, it started out with that authentic, organic, genuine, wanting something that represents Jamaica, the true spirit of Jamaica, and to get it in a bottle. So that's really, like I said, the movement of the people, the resilience of the people, the beauty of the people, the sexiness of the people. It's all in this bottle right here, these bottles. And so I've always been drawn to that independence, financially and otherwise, been drawn to entrepreneurship and just being at the forefront of, leading for a Black brand. I'm Jamaican girl, born in Jamaica, living in Jamaica, breathing in Jamaica. And so this all started in my bedroom. A thought, the idea, and then I just pursued that and I brought it to life. So here we are. It's been a journey because this didn't come overnight. It wasn't something like, you just got up one day just like that and it just came out of a vacuum. So it's been a long time coming. It's been homework. It's been researching. It's been brainstorming. It's been a lot of thinking.
Yes.
All that. And so I approached a company that owns a distillery, and I told them exactly what I wanted. Like I wanted rum punch that is just authentic. Rum punch that's different. The blend, I needed, white rum, gold rum that would be really smooth. And yes, and all of that and more. And they accommodated me. We got to it, and everything to do with the legal complexities, getting it, legitimate, standing. And so we went for it, and
you did it.
I remember
so inspiring. This is so inspiring. For one, the fact that you got inspired to create a rum while you were laying in bed. I get inspired to do a lot of things while I'm in bed. It's never to start a business. I need to get my bedroom action up to the next level because I be thinking of everything else but starting a business while I'm in bed. But and then, this takes a lot of courage on your part and gumption, audacity, But I think that's what's so beautiful about Jamaican people overall. And but what I want to know is, you're saying that the resilience and the beauty and the sexiness of the people are all bottled up in this bottle. So if I keep drinking this every day, am I gonna be sexy like you, girl, and be able to put a Jamaican accent?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this one punch, if I drink it every day, because Jamaican girls are so sexy, the way they talk and everything. Like, you can't bring your man around no Jamaican girl because it's over for you, bitch. Over. So yeah, I love that you say that it's all those things bottled up in one, because which is, my show today is all Black women that have fallen in love with this island, and some are living here full time, or some like me trying to figure out a way that I can to be here and live and thrive. So the beauty of the land and the people is a real thing. It's something about this country that's very magnetic and just overpowering. When you get here, you just feel good. So to see a woman like you that is so beautiful and so sexy and so strong, say that you've bottled up some of your power and beauty and put it in a bottle so that the rest of us can drink it and get a taste of what Jamaica is, I think is wonderful.
Definitely.
Really wonderful.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But I know you behind you have flasks, because you have the large size bottles, and then you also
Yes.
have flasks, right? Let me see those.
We also have these. Yes.
Yes. For the real old school players that, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yes, carry that flask around.
I think these are made to to fit in the jacket. It fits quite nicely in the jacket. Yeah.
Incognito, so nobody will know. Wow. And then you have the rum punch. And listen, y'all, people trust me and know that typically when I say something is good, I'm telling the truth.
It's
right?
Definitely good.
And I'm not a drinker, y'all. And I'm telling you, I'm feeling this. And it's really good. Now, she's all over. I know there'll be some Caribbean people, some island people watching my show, especially because of the topic. Anybody in Jamaica, you need to be drinking Mountain Matic rum, right? There's no excuse. You look online, go to the Instagram, the address is right there. Find them, reach out. We need this in every store in Jamaica, at all the tourist spots. We need this in all of the resorts, the clubs, the strip club, the casino, everywhere you could go, even when girlfriends have a party. We need Matic rum there. We've got to show love and support a Black woman that has her own rum. Come on now. And I think it's very important that Jamaica jump on board and embrace this woman, because you got to show love to your own. So many times we go away and others will love us, and then our people embrace us. But I'm hoping that Jamaica will be different in this instance and come on and celebrate Matic rum now while it's still in its infancy. Don't wait till the girl blow up and she's all over in the US and Canada and UK and then saying, yeah, Jamaica. No, we need to celebrate her now. With that being said, what are your next steps? Like, what's your plan? Because we also need to get her in the US, y'all, because this rum is just tasty. I think American women would definitely, this rum punch, tear it up. So what's next for you, and what do you need from us?
So I have approached Jampro. You know, that's our sector that deals with exporting, of goods. And so we're in the process of getting all that registrations and, license and all that thing going on, so we can have that ease of movement. So definitely I'm looking forward to getting into the market, the US market, the Canadian market, and island-wide here. So we're home-based. So we're making it home-based, and then definitely we are spreading wide and far. The horizon is there. So
yeah. I'm
that's
excited
in the making right now.
Yes, I'm excited for you. I love your branding. I love the way the label looks on the cover of the bottle. I can tell that you put a lot into making sure that this brand is just stellar. And I love on your social media how you got the sexy Jamaican girls in their bikinis. Even you were in a bikini. So anybody want to see her in her bikini, go to the page. I ain't gonna be in no bikini in my advertisement, but we're gonna figure something out. This brand is for everybody. If you love life and you feel good, I get very excited about brands specifically owned by Black women. So this is very important to me that we get the word out about her and celebrate her and let the world know. And what is it? Get your roll on, get your Matic on. What's the key catchphrase that you say?
Okay, so the catchphrase is roll with your Matic, roll responsibly.
Roll with your Matic, roll responsibly.
So it's authentic Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
Roll with your Matic. Roll responsibly.
Roll responsibly. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I've been practicing my patois. So
you got that one.
I'm getting it together. I'm getting it together. Anything else that you want to say about Matic Rum before we get out of here?
So satisfaction is automatic with Matic, and it speaks so bold. It people need to know that they can trust the brand, and trust me when I tell you, the satisfaction is automatic with Matic. It is.
Girl, and the fact that you came up with that idea in your bed, I'm sure you know how to satisfy. I love it.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Everything here, the beauty of the label, it just represents the beauty of the people, the beauty of the country.
Yes.
Yeah, the beauty, everything is in this bottle here.
Yeah. You all, she gave me right now, I have sample sizes. She's can y'all see the I'll keep showing you all. I think this is wonderful. I'm so thankful that you came on the show and that you
and thank you for having me too. It was my absolute pleasure.
Yes. So you all, while I'm doing my show while I'm here in Jamaica, every week I'm gonna be drinking Matic Rum. I hope to even have you come back on the show and maybe we can make a cocktail live. We'll figure out some kind of configuration to do it. But for those of y'all that are in the States watching, a lot of you all come to Jamaica. It's my duty to make sure that every American that comes here lands on the island and they're asking for Matic Rum because it's really that good. And so when you all come in town, make sure you ask for it, find it. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy to see you as a Black woman doing your thing, entering a marketplace that is very competitive. You have the old school brands that are long standing, that have been here since the beginning of time. And you stepping out here on faith, jumping out here, really trying to meet them where they are. I commend you. I salute you. I love what you're doing. And I hope that you get everything you want and more with this brand, and I'm sure you will. You're going to be a multimillionaire, and I'm speaking that into existence for you. But you don't need me to speak it. It's going to happen. I see it because you are on a roll. Roll with your Matic. Roll responsibly. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm rolling right now. I'm feeling really good right now. I'm feeling really feeling very Matic. I think I'm gonna be creative in bed tonight myself because of this. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. All right. Gotta go and get my next guest that's waiting for me. But I thank you so much for coming on. And I'm gonna see you again. And I'll be drinking the rum and speaking your name everywhere I go. But thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you so much, Joe. It was my absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Good night. Woo, wasn't that nice? All right, y'all. That was wonderful. Remember, check her out. Go to Instagram, follow Matic_rum. And just because I made it, created it, I made this this little advertisement for. I'm gonna play it again because I'm excited about my video editing skills. I'm getting really good with this stuff. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Jamaica's own Mountain Matic Rum. Seriously smooth. I'm so proud of myself. I did all that myself. Yes, I'm excited. All right. So what I want to do now, listen, many of us that are solo travelers, you go to a country or somewhere by yourself and you just pray and hope that you're going to be safe and not meet no crazy people. And find some people that you can really connect with and have a good time with. I was so blessed that when I got here to Jamaica, I met a friend. And she is a friend, a ride or die. And we met on the internet first. Then we both happened to be staying at the same villa and ran into each other. I was like, wait a minute, didn't I meet you online? Hey, girl, hey. And then we've been rocking ever since, getting into trouble on this island, baby. We've been getting in trouble. But it's bittersweet today because, like I said, we're both on a tourist visa. So her time is up. Her 6 months is up. So she's actually going to be leaving Jamaica tomorrow. I won't get too much into the details of where she's going next and what's going to happen next. But I do want to say that her being here with me has been such an uplifting thing. It really is some truth to Black girl magic and what happens when two Black queens can get together and salute each other and love up on each other and be respectful of each other and have a good ass time in a foreign land. It has been wow. I want to bring Tina on, but let me tell you about her. Tina is an anti-racism expert and facilitator. I'm a little drunk right now off my Matic. I'm rolling with my Matic. So my introduction for her probably isn't as clean as it could be. I'm gonna read a bit of her bio. Oh, I can't because I don't have my phone. Okay. But let me say this. She has a podcast that speaks about anti-racism. She also does these tours where people can go and pay homage to the people that have come before us, that many of them lost their lives to lynching. Her mission is really to make sure that the world is racism free. But she took a break from some of her work to come and be a tourist in Jamaica and just focus on herself and love on herself and have a good time. And we've been having a ball here. It's crazy. Give it up for my girl, Tina Strawn. Come on in, Tina.
Hey, girl. Hey, my friend. That was incredible. You understand I'm tipsy and high. So, and emotional.
Yes.
So I'm here. I'm waiting in the waiting room and waiting for you to read the bio and introduce me. And you have me almost crying. I'm like,
thank you, girl. Tina, listen.
I love you so much.
I love you too. And you know, this between you and me, this has been a love story in many ways, because I think people dwell on romantic love and those kind of things, but the love of a friendship and meeting, especially now we're girls over 40, and when you're meeting somebody new out of the country, the fact that y'all can like jail the way we did and support each other and have fun, it's been a blessing, because you know it's a lot of crazy motherfuckers out here, and you and me have our some crazy here or there, but in a way that complements each other, and that doesn't always happen.
Absolutely.
I want to put your Patreon up. If you go to Tina's Patreon, you can read more about her and her anti-racism work she is doing and support her, because what she's doing is true art, and she's really trying to make the US a better place, even though we ain't in the US right now. She's trying to get y'all fucks together. So I need you all to go to her Patreon and support her. But Tina, listen. I know you're a little tipsy. You want some rum? You want some Matic rum?
I want to drop it. Why didn't I go get some rum in my? Yeah, I would love some.
Can we make a drink for Tina? She's over in the corner. Yes. All right, we're gonna get to it.
Wonderful.
That's the good part of being always.
I'll add it to my tea. This is I think cinnamon and almond milk.
Yeah.
And so it needs rum. This is
so zen. Yes, you need some rum.
Yeah, I do.
So listen, I'll let people do a little more research on their own about you and all the great things that you're doing. I want to talk to you about this island of Jamaica. How good has Jamaica been to you since you've been here these 6 months?
Jamaica has been the perfect place for me to come and heal. And I heard you talking about it earlier, a little bit about your journey being here, and just waking up every day, and you got your boyfriend bringing you fresh fruit for breakfast every morning. Like we're living like literal queens. That is what it feels like. So being here on the island of Jamaica for the past 6 months, everything about being here has healed me in ways I didn't even know I needed to heal. Everything about being here has actually aged me backwards. And you and I talked about this a lot, how just my skin, listen, do you understand how you are glowing right now under the moonlight? The moon is like right above your head. You are radiant, Erica. That's how we look all day, every day here in Jamaica. You would be in Chicago, I would be in Atlanta or wherever I am, and we didn't look like this. I didn't, my hair wasn't like, my locks were not fresh to death like this, so feeling, feeling so much a part of, I think when I think about being here, I think about the land, I think about the sand, I think about the water, I think about the weed, I think about the people and the food. And even with the food, I am vegan-ish, vegetarian-ish. I'm gonna say that because I'm gonna eat me some fish. I've been here and I've had escovitch fish many times. So I haven't had the pork and the beef and things like that, and the jerk chicken and all of that, but I have had jerk tofu. Hello, jerk. We can do vegetarian items that are jerk flavored as well. So it has just been a beautiful experience for me to come and grieve and heal, and your friendship has meant a lot to me. It has been so great to have a sister girl friend here with me. I'm grateful for you.
Oh yeah, I'm grateful for you too. I am so grateful for you. Oh, they sent her. You got your drink. You got your magic rum.
We got the drink. Can we cheers?
Hey.
Got my drink.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers.
So Tina, now, do you mind talking a little bit about what led you to Jamaica in the first place? Because what I really want people to understand is the type of healing that you and I were dealing with, which made us say it's time to get up and get out of the U.S. and go elsewhere. Even in this pandemic, when the world was already crazy and the odds were against us, people travel shaming and saying don't go anywhere. We made a conscious decision to get up and go and to stay put with our visiting visas for a while. With me, I had years ago gone through a horrible breakup with an awful motherfucker. Like he was like, yeah, y'all understand me? Like this motherfucker was horrible. And I was depressed, had put on weight. My career, things were going up in some ways, but in other ways going down. I had fell down some stairs and hurt my leg really badly. And it had gotten so bad that my doctor had said, if you don't get it together, you're going to end up having to amputate your leg. And I got diagnosed with diabetes. So I was at my wit's end, and I had been dealing with this for 3 or 4 years, just being sick, continuing to get bigger, just not feeling good. The dark circles under my eyes, which are almost gone now, y'all. My eyes were so black underneath. I mean, I felt like I was dying. So I really did come here to save my life. And I got here, and within a month in, y'all, my leg had completely healed. I can walk 3-4 blocks now, but before I couldn't walk even a second. I'm eating fruit, eating sour sop, and all kind of just whatever. The person that I'm in love with, that I'm here with, I have to speak on the love part just a bit. We had already met. I've known him for a while, but now being here, we were able to solidify things. So anyway, I'm just happy and in love and feeling good. And that's what led me to Jamaica. What about you?
I have been planning to move out of the U.S. since 2018. So midterm elections, was living in Atlanta at the time, was very active with a couple of political campaigns. You may have heard of Stacey Abrams, for example, volunteered with her campaign, volunteered with another Black woman's campaign. So just being in Atlanta and going through the midterm elections and just being tired, being done. When Black folks, when we say we're tired, we're not just speaking about right now in this moment in time. We are speaking on behalf of our ancestors who have been tired. So we are done. I got to that point where I said, it's time for me to go and explore and figure out what would it feel like to be in my Black body, in my queer Black body and skin, and live outside of the United States. I decided I wanted to know what that looks like and feels like. So I started to research and decide where do I want to go with my spouse at the time. And our original plan was that in January of 2020, we would get rid of all of our belongings for the purpose of spending this year of 2020 traveling the country and ultimately moving to Durban, South Africa in September. So I have been living full-time in Airbnbs and hotels since February 1st of 2020. We all know what happened in March. Shit got shut down across everywhere except kind of the United States. So COVID hit and my opportunities in Durban, South Africa were canceled, like so many others of us who work gig jobs. So then when my work was canceled in Durban, South Africa, I shifted my search to and my plans to move to Vietnam because I've been following a very large, growing Black expat community in Vietnam, and I wanted to go and be a part of that. So meanwhile, I go through a breakup. And I don't want to get into all the details of that, but let me just, in May of 2020, had a horrible breakup, still going through that process of grieving and healing. Had a tremendous family crisis the next week. And then that month, everybody remembers May 2020, George Floyd was killed. And in my particular line of work as an anti-racism educator and facilitator, I made a decision, an unusual decision, at that moment in time when the states were on fire, rightly so, because we were starting to fight back. Everyone was in the street protesting against the murder of George Floyd by police officers, right? So everything blew up racially. And that was the time that I was experiencing the most personal tragedy that I have ever experienced. So due to that, I said I'm going on hiatus. I went on hiatus, as in stopped working, shut shit down, because I needed to take care of myself. I realized I got to a point where I can't deal with anybody. I need to step back and just take care of myself. So I went on hiatus. Was talking to a friend on the phone as I'm waiting for the borders of Vietnam to open. My friend, who is a Jamaican American Black man, and his family is Jamaican. His parents are Jamaican, and he said, Jamaica's borders are open. You want to go to Jamaica? I said, well, sure. Bought tickets that hour, and I was here on the island 2 days later. And originally, the plan was that I was going to be here for 6 weeks, but after a couple of weeks, after I did my 14-day quarantine and started moving around the island and getting a feel for what it's like to be on the beach and just to be, drive through the city, just everything that I wanted to say. So I've been here ever since.
Isn't that crazy? Y'all, the fact that Tina and I both came here, expected to stay a smaller bit of time. And now here we are 6 months later. She's still here. She's leaving tomorrow. I came in September and I just haven't gone back. I've been here. But when you're in the midst of doing it, when you're just living it, you're not thinking about how revolutionary in some ways it is. You're not thinking about the deepness of it. But people have been reaching out to me and writing saying, oh, you're so inspiring. What you're doing is so amazing. I can't believe you did that. I'm like, I just didn't want to take my ass home. But it is a revolutionary act to love on yourself, to go against convention and what people say is supposed to be being done, and to do things your way. Like that is and then we're doing it during a pandemic. I want to show y'all what me and Tina have been doing. I got a couple pictures here. If it'll pop up, my internet is it may not pop up. Let's see. Come on now, picture. Oh, you know what? Damn it. This is what I'm gonna do. Let me take us away for a second. Those are just some of the pictures. It got all quiet. I had to take myself out of the stream. But that picture of Tina on the river, I was with her. I think I might have taken that picture. Somebody did. We went river rafting. Mm-hmm. And you go on the river, y'all. It's so beautiful. And the men rub your body, give you a massage with the limestone from the river. That's part of why my skin is glistening, looking good. Just what has been the most amazing part for you of being here, being away from the US? Because that's the thing, that home has been toxic. we have been through a lot as Americans, and you add being a Black American on top of it. So coming here where there's still COVID, but they follow protocols, they're very serious about it here. The numbers have been very low comparatively to other places. But what has been the most, I don't know, joyous thing, or what is it? What is, I don't know, what are you loving so much about being here?
I think it's a combination of several things. I think it is the land itself. It is having access to the beaches, the Caribbean Sea, and being able to go into the bush. I think it's walking everywhere we go. The trees are fruit bearing, or they are flower bearing. So I think that's a huge part. Just being here and a part of nature. Nature is a huge part of my healing journey. I'm sure that in these 6 months that I've been here, every single week I'm on the beach and in the water. That has happened without me. So that's been a part of it. But I think the other big piece is just being in a Black country, right? The entire reason that I made the decision that I wanted to get out of the US is because I did not feel like the US, like I was safe in my skin there. I did not feel like my Black life mattered after we saw how Breonna Taylor's murderers were never held accountable. We, as especially Black women, are told repeatedly in the United States that our lives don't matter. They show us constantly and consistently. And today was a great day of celebration as we have, Kamala Harris is now our vice president. And not that I'm the biggest fan of Biden and Harris, but just when I think about how we have to celebrate us as Black women and find ways to do that and find where we fit in the world. So for me, coming to a Black country where I see beautiful Black people every day, where I see Black people just being joyful, going out to a beach, and I look to my left and it's nothing but joyful Black folk enjoying the sand and the water. Look to my right, it's nothing but Black folk. I remember the first time that I went to a beach here and just saw us playing in the sand, in the water, and just living our lives. And I cried because I realized I had never even, I never even had a mental picture of what it would look like for Black people to be on a beach, right? We know what segregation has done in the United States as far as, we know what it looks like in the US, but to even be, it's like Wakanda, Erica, we talked about that. It feels like the actual real fucking Wakanda. And so that's been, just the nature and Black people has been the best part about being in Jamaica for me.
Yes, me too. And I think a lot of times people dwell on, Black American women coming to Jamaica, they're all coming to have sex, right? And just sleep with the island. A lot of that goes on too. But I'm like, man, the breeze, the beach,
I was just saying we can do that too. We can do all of it. We're here for.
It's nothing wrong with coming. Yeah, we can do that too. We can do that. I'm definitely gonna talk about that. One of our guests that is on the show has been doing research on Black women's sexuality in Jamaica, in particular Black American women that come here. So I'm gonna talk to her about that. But yeah, I think people dwell on those kind of things. And y'all, yes, Stella is getting her group back here. Sex tourism is a big deal in Jamaica, and I don't necessarily want to get too much into it, but but when you feel good, just like we were talking about with the rum, it's sexy. When this island, there's something here for everybody. And I have felt my most beautiful, my most sexy, my most fulfilled being here in Jamaica than I have in a very long time. Like I said, I'm here with my little nappy braids and I don't have any makeup on, and I'm butt ass naked half the damn time on the island, and don't nobody say nothing to me about it. I do what I want to do, and it feels good. So I will say to people, yes, it is a pandemic. Do I suggest that people just go out and travel leisurely and just go take a quick weekend trip somewhere? I don't think it's worth the risk. But if you want to uproot and go somewhere and stay put for a long period of time to heal and work on yourself, it may be worth it. Jamaica has saved my life, and I stand by that. It has. And it's interesting too to meet so many other Black women that this place in particular has been such an amazing part of their lives. But I don't know. I'm once again so happy that I met you. It's sad to see you go tomorrow. I'll be here a little longer after you. I know you're making your plans on what your next steps are going to be, but I wish you nothing but love and success. Hopefully you and I will be back here on this island being tourist visa in again together and enjoying the island. But this trip would not have been as special as it had been without the friendship that you and I have developed here. And it's just so exciting to see how you have evolved being here on the island, from going through a breakup and a heartbreak and making this unusual transition that you've made. And every day you get stronger and stronger and even more beautiful. Like I told you when I first met you, I think of you as a goddess. You give off goddess energy to me. And it's been wonderful to see how the goddess even evolves into even a more amazing and bigger goddess since you've been here on the island. So cheers to you. I appreciate you and your friendship. You are a lovely, amazing, and beautiful person. And I wouldn't have wanted to spend, other than my man, you're the second best person for me to spend time with on this island. And I really enjoyed it.
Really?
I can't. Yes, absolutely. Because we've had some fun and we just had deep conversations and we talked and helped heal each other. It's been beautiful. So salute to you, cheers to you. I'm gonna get up in the morning because I'm gonna make sure I see you off when you leave for the airport.
Okay.
But I love you, my friend, and I'm so happy to go on this journey with you. You wouldn't think that we've just met, that we communicate with each other. So I definitely know we've made friends for life. We are friends for life, definitely.
Absolutely. And whether Chicago, Jamaica, wherever, Erica, we will always be friends and we will always stay in touch. And I feel like we got trouble coming our way.
Absolutely.
Some of it in the future. So we're not done with that.
Oh yeah. And look, I'm gonna follow you wherever you go. So I don't know. This is the thing. Jamaica has been so good to both of us. I think that ultimately this place is going to be a part of our lives forever and a long time. But even when you take a trip to Bali or go somewhere else next, I'm gonna follow you where you go. So make sure wherever you stay, there's some kind of studio or one bedroom ready for me at the same place where you're staying. Because here I come. I'm coming.
Let's do our same setup.
Yeah.
Like this. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Y'all make sure you all support Tina. Like I said, that her anti-racism work, she's an educator and a facilitator. She knows her stuff. And she's a powerful resource for any of you out there that may be struggling with the ways in which to deal with, racism in society. But I want you to go to her Patreon page, /Tina Strawn. Make sure that you all support her and show her some love and follow her on her journeys. These pictures I'm showing are nothing. Y'all, me and this girl have tore this island apart. I'm surprised Jamaica is still standing. We really have the ball. But yeah, Tina, I love you and good luck to you with everything you got going. And after you're probably gonna go to sleep. But if you're still up for a minute after the show, I'm gonna come down there and talk to you.
Okay, sounds good. But thank you so much,
All right.
Erica.
All right. Good night.
Night.
That's my girl Tina. I'm so sad that she's going. But life goes on. We got to move on to the next journey. Jamaica has played its part for right now with Tina. And we'll see where she's going to go next. All right. Now, up comes, I am, of course, a little behind schedule. So what I'm going to do, because I promised my guests that I would respect their time, but I've been getting drunk off of this Matic rum and I'm a little behind times, whatever. I'm going to bring my next two guests up together, which is what I originally planned in the beginning. anyway, because they're both entrepreneurs that are living here in Jamaica, doing amazing things, and specifically working with the expat community, Black people that have made their black exit from the U.S. and are here. We have Aisha Nelson that has created a group on Facebook specifically for Black Americans that want to maybe move to Jamaica permanently and live here and don't know really how to go about doing things and need resources. And then D. Harry has, first of all, she's got a couple businesses, and I got pictures to prove all the wonderful things she's doing. But one thing that she's doing is having a mental health event here in Jamaica, specifically for transplants that have left America, Black Americans that have come here to Jamaica, and dealing with some of the cultural differences and things that you come across when you are living in a country that is foreign to you. So I want to bring on Aisha and Dee at the same time so we can have a good old great conversation. Hey, first of all, y'all both fly. Look
good night.
Very gorgeous.
Hey, good night.
Hey, Dee, what you drinking? Dee, what you drinking?
So I don't have any. What are you drinking? The Matic? I don't have any of that. So I have some sorrel juice with a little bit of overproof.
Yes. Oh, I love sorrel. Now, Aisha, where's your drink?
It's right here.
What you got?
My spaghetti jar full of water.
Water. That's why your skin be looking so beautiful, girl. Every time I see you, I'm like, I tell Aisha she's the sexiest girl in Jamaica because it just but it's water, girl. All this time I think you've been drinking rum, but you're sexy because of the water. I loved it. Yay. Y'all, I'm so happy y'all are in here. Now, I researched and found Dee online when I was looking for Black Americans. She has she does tropical paint parties for tourists and for Jamaicans. Thank you, baby. And she also has a fruit tasting business. She's doing some amazing things. And then Aisha, I met because I joined her Black Jamaican expat group. Let me put the information up for that really quickly. I joined the Facebook group. So all of y'all are watching, go to Facebook, join the Black Expats in Jamaica group. It's for African Americans that are trying to make their way to live here permanently, or for some that were once here and want to come back. Any resource, any questions, it's a positive, amazing group. And it's really been very helpful to me with trying to navigate my future, because ultimately I would love to live in Jamaica full time one day and not just be a tourist. But anyway, and then let me I want to make sure pronounce your name Deorrah. Is that how you say your first name? I want to make sure I say it right correctly.
Yeah, it's Deorrah, but everybody calls me Dee. Yeah, it's Deorrah.
Everybody call you Dee, yes. And that's Dee's website, Tropical Paint Parties, y'all. And she's doing some great stuff here. So I guess if I could have both of you all quickly tell me a quick story on what led you to be here in Jamaica. Dee, you go first. How did you get here?
So I think it was a little bit of happenstance, like for most people who came here. But for me, I had gotten laid off from my job in 2017. And I had a birthday trip planned for Jamaica like 2 weeks later. It was already pre-planned. So when I was laid off from my job, I was like, oh my God, do I still go to Jamaica? And yes, I did go. Everything was paid for. And something about being here, as we all know, something just kind of drew me in, right? So to make a long story tolerable, what ended up happening was I decided that I kind of want to redo my life, kind of reinvent things. And so I thought that the best thing for me to do would be to develop some sort of a business plan. So I'm an artist. So I was like, you know what? I'll do sip and paints. Now, mind you, there were some things that happened a little bit before this, but what ended up happening is I wrote in my journal. I said, you know what? A year from now, I'm going to come to Jamaica. I'm going to move. I'm going to start my business. And that's what I did. I started my sip and paint business. And, so far, so good.
Wow. Oh my, that is, first of all, did your friends and family, did people freak out when you said you were going to be going to live in a whole different country? And then when you pick Jamaica, I feel like if you tell people, oh, I'm moving to
Well,
France or Italy. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, so and I think I have a little bit of a lag. But yeah, so I actually tell many people until it was time to actually, like, it was real, you know what I mean? I didn't even tell my mother until about 5 months before I actually left. And my mother was the one who was like, oh no, are you really doing this? Like, she was not with it. But what ended up happening was she visited me last year in December, and she was so happy. Like, she loved it and she can't wait to come back. But everybody else was very supportive. You know, you have to be careful who you share your dreams with, because everybody's not going to understand, you know. But, yeah, so my family, my friends, the ones who I chose to tell, were very supportive.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely have to be careful about sharing dreams. And I think sometimes because people think of Jamaica as a playground, as a fun vacation, and especially if they've come here and only stayed at the resorts, they don't realize this is a real country with real people, with real lives and real neighborhoods, and people get up and go to work every day and got jobs, and this is a real place. It's not a magical fairyland. So when you tell people, oh, I'm going to move to Italy or I'm moving to Europe or something like that, I think that they're much more understanding. When you say you're moving to Jamaica, the first thing is like, what you about to do in Jamaica? And it's like, I'm going to live a real life. Aisha, what led you to Jamaica?
Yeah.
It just wasn't one thing. I have been coming back and forth maybe since about 95, and I was just, coming back and forth, and I got tired of being in the States, to be honest. It was like I couldn't do it no more. And I just couldn't do it. The rat race, just everything about it. It was just it just wasn't for me. And so I ended up married and pregnant and had a baby. And I had this 5-year plan. And I made it actually in 6 years instead of 5, because I had a house fire, which I was like, okay, that's a blessing. No, I don't have to get rid of everything because it's already gone. And I came down here, and I've been here since 2005. 2009.
Wow. And let me tell y'all, Aisha is 411 Central on what's going on in Jamaica. Anything you need, you put a SOS message out, and Aisha like, oh, you just do this or you do that. Like, she knows everything. Even Jamaicans go to Aisha to get information on how to do things. So when it comes to, trying to immigrate here fully, Aisha definitely knows everything there is dealing with immigration and all of those things, get your paperwork in order and stuff, even when it comes to starting a business. Because I have to commend both of you all for coming here and starting grassroots, like building businesses from the ground up. I just think it's a beautiful thing. Because even though Aisha has the Black Expat group on Facebook, she has a tour company and really takes like a concierge, taking care of tourists that come here to Jamaica as well. So y'all need to hook up if you haven't, because Dee got the paint parties and the fruit tasting parties on lock, and Aisha has the transportation to drive everybody to the paint party. So I think it would be, great to see that happen. But I have to ask you all both this, if you don't mind. Talking about the stereotypes of Black women that come to Jamaica, people always think that, I've had people say, oh, Black American women are loose. They come here to have a good time and just have a bunch of sex. Even some of my male friends are like, they will not let their wives or girlfriends travel to Jamaica alone without them. Like, Jamaican men are just going to pounce out and jump up on them like Dexter St. Jock. So to see two women like you all come here and actually have businesses And I'm not saying y'all not having some freaky fun on the side, but y'all really do actually own businesses here. How do you all feel about that particular stereotype, though, that we just swinging from trees and chandeliers, having all the sex we want in Jamaica, and just doing that and not really being serious about the country? Have you heard those kind of things, and how do you feel about it? I know.
Yeah, I've definitely things, and so I always think it comes from something, and I don't know if this is something that people just want or not, but I think stereotypes come from something, but I think that it might be a little misguided. I don't think that all come to Jamaica, the island, and beautiful, and then it's just something about it. But now the other part of that is what I can say is I actually moved here. I traveled here back to back because I didn't want to just jump and move here, right? I wanted to make sure this was where I wanted to be. I had to make connections and do all these things. So within the span of a year, I probably traveled here like 8, don't ask full-time jobs, everything. But I had to make sure that, I was good and that I wanted to do this. Well, of course, for the family, okay, Stella, all right, Stella. But the real gag is, that's not my experience. I literally have people that I was trying to actually meet. And even now, my goal is, to have my business better and make the life around me as well here in Take or you another story, right? Topic, but use my American privilege to just trample over, the local hard work and everything to make sure that I give back. And here's my thing. Listen, do what you want to do with your body.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if people don't, but not really,
Oh, there's a little bit of a delay, D. I don't know if you're still talking. But yeah, do what you want with your body, but that's not everybody's story that comes here. And but what about you, Aisha? Have you been Stella since you've been here? Are you Stella?
I've been here so long that I inspired Stella. But anyway,
Hello.
but it can happen. I mean, it happens. People do actually travel here for that. And it happens. It's more to that stereotype than just a stereotype. It's some truth into that. But when you come, that's on your vacation. You know what I'm saying? But when you come to live here, you have to know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself and know who you are, that's all you're gonna end up doing is laid up somewhere, and that's that. So you have to know yourself. You have to focus. You have to know what you want, and be determined, just like anywhere else. I mean, like, I started with another expat who's actually here. I think she's been here about 6 years. We started the travel agency. From the travel agency, we went to the tours. And because it's not as many people coming, that's how I ended up with the Black expat group. Because I want people when they move, I know people want to move here, they just don't know how. And when they get here, I want them to, because I love Jamaica, and I want them to be responsible, and I want them to love Jamaica and be successful here. That's what I want. And so I'm here to help.
Yeah, I definitely am so appreciative of the group on Facebook. Like I said, it's info central, and you've been so helpful to me, Aisha, with a lot of the things that I'm trying to do here, because ultimately I love Jamaica so much. I would love to be a full-time resident here. Now, with what I do for a living, acting and having stuff, I would have to live a life where I can go back and forth, but I'm really hoping that happens for me when I'm able to live here and thrive and be here, because it's no place like it. I feel my happiest here. Now, when it comes, so let me be real for you, Aisha. You and I have talked about relationships and dating here, and even dealing with like cultural differences and issues. What is it though? I mean, so does every Jamaican man just want me so they can get a green card? Is that what it is?
Girl, no. Some people, no.
Right. I'm just saying, I'm being sarcastic, because even when even with the, relationship that I'm in, that is a very loving and beautiful relationship, and I've been quiet about it for a long time, but that's all I'm gonna say about it, that I'm definitely in a great relationship. I find that when I tell some girls back home, it's like, oh, well, I mean, girl, watch your back. And I'm like, girl, the niggas in Chicago will use you too. Like, what are you talking about? You know how many, what do they call them, hobo sexuals, the people that come and have sex with you and then get on your couch and never leave. And the stereotype that the people here, first of all, some people here don't even want to come to the States. A lot of people here don't ever want to leave their country. So I just, but what do you have to say to that? The whole stereotype, like, girl, don't get with no Jamaican girl. All he gonna do is leave you and get to the States.
Okay, it's 3 million, a little bit more than 3 million people in Jamaica, right? It's about 1 million something in Kingston. About half of that population is men. These women will tell you the same thing. They go to Negril, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios. And so they're in 3 different areas. And they probably, I would say it's about probably 5,000 men that they run into. So it's all the same women that sleep with all the same 5,000 men. So of course they're gonna have all the same stories. But where the rest of them, where is the rest of the rest of the million men at? Million plus men. They don't get an opportunity to meet because they're stuck with those same 5,000 men. It's not, Jamaican men are caring, they're providers, and they don't necessarily want to come to the States. They don't want a green card. They love Jamaica. They want to stay here. They want to raise their families here and everything else. It's just a matter of, it's difficult to get a visitor's visa. And so they forced or have to get a green card in order to travel sometimes. So, I mean, if you meet a dude in the middle of the day, and he's not on vacation, you are. Why can you meet him in the middle of the day? Why he's not at work? So I mean, if you're not using common sense in the first place. So why, you know what I'm saying? Anyway,
a man with idle hands anywhere will be trouble, whether he's in San Francisco, Chicago, Atlanta, Memphis, or Jamaica. I prefer hardworking men that have real jobs and plans for their future. And I just find that it's very interesting. The first thing people find, girl, he probably using you. And I'm looking like, all the people you done dated in Texas was using you. What are you talking about? Why is this perception?
Exactly.
Got deep back here. Yeah. Where does that perception come from?
Just the stereotype, and it's just a stereotype. That's it, and that's all. I mean, like I said, they probably done ran into some people that their professional jobs, like you were saying, the sex tourism. And I mean, they take it as real. I mean, you here for 5 days and you just met somebody and fell in love with. Come on now.
Yeah, the gigolos, everybody, is what Aisha is referring to. There's gigolos here, but like they have that in the States as well.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, it irritates me. So that's why I've been very quiet about my situation, and I will continue to be. Y'all ain't more than likely ain't nobody ever gonna know his name, nothing about him. We're gonna be living in the mountains, making Jamaican babies, having our fun. I've just learned to keep my business to myself because I don't feel like the judgment. And I'm like, and he don't even want to be bothered with the U.S. That's not his concern is getting to the U.S. Right. So it's weird to me when people say that. But let me ask you in particular. D is hosting an event that's specifically for the people in our Black expat group or other people that are here on the island that moved to the island from the U.S. dealing with like some of the mental health issues, just even the stress and day-to-day things that you deal with the cultural differences. D, why did you decide to do this event, and what in particular are some of the issues that Black Americans have when they come to live in a country like Jamaica? Yeah, the internet, y'all. Listen, the internet here can be tricky. I might have to just have D come on another thing. But how can you speak to that, Aisha? Like what are some of the difficulties and things that you know people have, like the culture shock? Because let me say, even to me, and I don't mean no harm when I say this, but sometimes Black Americans are the white people when we get like our mindset, we're gentrifiers. They want to come here and not get in the culture. Like I feel like if you move into Jamaica, it ain't to turn Jamaica into America. It needs to be to respect the culture and the people and the practices here, and to get just get in there. You eat that ackee and that saltfish in the morning. Get you some bammy. Get you. Go ahead and we need some festivals and some dumplings and some food. Like you get to come here and eat. You can't be like, I want some barbecue ribs and a 6-piece wing. Like, come on now. D is right. Let's see.
All right.
D,
you guys see me?
Yeah. Yes, that's better. So D, I was asking you, in particular, what inspired you to have this mental health event that you're going to be facilitating for Black expats, and what are some of the things that, in particular, that Black Americans have difficulties with moving to a country like Jamaica?
Okay, cool. So I'm so glad that you asked that question. All right. So what prompted me to come up with the mental health meetups and the Black expats group, right, is there was an article that one of the members posted, and it was on expat depression. And that's not something that's really talked about, when we're referring to, leaving your home country and moving abroad, wherever you're going. So it's not really something that's talked about. Everybody talks about like, oh, I'm having fun on the beach every day and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. But there are really a lot of issues that come along with moving. So when I read the article, I was kind of triggered, #triggers. So I was a little triggered because I have experienced a lot of the points that were made in the article. Although I don't think that I would name it like full-blown depression, but there was a lot of challenges that I was having mentally that I really didn't know. I didn't put a name to it, right? You know how you got to call a thing, right? So I didn't know to put a name to it. So a couple things that people can kind of consider when they're moving abroad, or what people may have experienced that are already here. One of the things is basically if you're like me, right? I was very, very independent, and I lived in Atlanta, very independent, like most of us, right? You have your car, you have your apartment, I didn't depend on anybody. I know where everything is, like it's my life. But when you are then moving to another country, completely foreign country, you have to ask for help for the most minimal thing. you have to ask, hey, do y'all have, Tylenol here? And they're like, no, we have Panadol. And you're like, what's Panadol? Like little things that you don't know that you need help for because it's a different culture. Well, when you have so many of those issues, what I experienced is you start feeling like, am I competent? Like you almost feel like you're crazy. I don't know how to explain it. So there are a lot of little things. Yeah, there are a lot of little things like that. If you don't know where things are, you're always getting played like until you understand how much things are supposed to be or whatever. Like it can really do something to you. And you start kind of feeling a little like, okay, what? And then I think another thing, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but when I was preparing to move to Jamaica, like I said, it was about a year of preparation. I knew that I wanted to move. So I knew that I didn't want anything to throw me off. Listen, I wasn't in a relationship. I don't have any kids. I didn't want to meet nobody who would throw me off my game. I'm like, Lord, don't you have nobody meet me and I fall in love and then I can go to Jamaica. Like, so I literally cut off connections from like going out and doing things because I didn't want to meet anybody. I had to save up money because I'm not balling. So I couldn't hang out with my friends. I literally moved out of my apartment. So once you've done all that, you start detaching yourself mentally. When you finally do leave, it's sort of some weird detached feeling that you also have. So it's just a lot of little things like that that I think it's needful to discuss, especially when you come here and you don't have family and probably don't have friends.
Right. Yeah. I hadn't even really thought about it, the way in which somebody like me too, that's very independent, can pick up and go and move around, do what you want to do. Even the fact that here you gotta get a cab for get a driver, get a cab.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
You learn, like now I'm renting a car, but it's certain places I can't drive to because they drive on the wrong side of the road, and it's just the steering wheel is on the wrong side of the car. So I'm just always messing up. So I don't even drive to too many places that aren't within my scope. But I know in home in Chicago or just in the U.S. period, I know where things are. I know where to get them. I know how to get them. But here, you definitely need assistance. And it's just, Let me ask you both though: what cultural differences have you experienced, or have you seen people experience with the dating in particular? Because even though I'm going to talk to Dr. Nicole after you all specifically about Black American women and their sexual exploits on the island. Those cultural differences are a trip. Things can get lost in translation. I mean, there are things even as simple as, I remember my boyfriend was giving me some food and he was like, are you ready for your portion? Or should I give you your portion? And I was like, my portion? I eat all this motherfucking food if I want to eat it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you talking about, a portion? Ain't no goddamn portion. It's all my portion. And he's like, do you want your plate of food now? And I was like, oh, you just meant for me, did I want my plate? Like, and I took such offense to it, but it's like that lost in translation can make some problems. And not just in intimate relationships, just in talking to people, period. And even one of my pet peeves is I feel that I don't like that sometimes people think because I'm an American, they can charge me more for things to the point where it's like 15 times more than what the normal price would be. Or even the assumption that, well, if you're an American, you must have money. Because I'm like, I'm just a hardworking American. I'm not rich. And so getting used to that too and understanding the culture, at least I'm coming with an open mind. I think some people come here and get all offended, which is why sometimes people are off put by Americans. But for me, when I explain like, no, I saved the money to come here on the vacation. I ain't balling like that. So I need the Jamaican price for that callaloo. I cannot pay $300 US for a bag of callaloo. I'm gonna need you to go ahead and let me give you $3. So for both of you all, how has the cultural communication affected your life being here? Okay. Aisha, I'll let you go first.
I've been here for a while, so
Yeah, that's true. You've been here. Aisha got an accent. She speak patois. When Aisha be texting me, she be texting in patois. I'm like, girl, what did you just say? English. But yeah, you've been here 13 years. So
I've been here a while, and so as far as being overcharged because you're an American, that's not it. You're being overcharged because you're in a tourist zone. Say, for instance, if you went to an area in the country, you would be charged the same price as anyone else. It's the fact that you're in a tourist zone. So even locals who don't, even Americans who are not from the area, they charge the same prices that you would because they are not from the area and they don't know no better. But I mean, as far as dating, one thing that I do notice that it's like American women have this perception that Jamaicans don't have money. And so they'll dig in their pocket and pay for all this stuff. And I'm like, why are you doing that? The men pay for everything here. Keep your money in your pocket. And even if it's not what you want, just accept the fact that that's what the man can afford and enjoy yourself. And stop doing that. Because what happens is you do all this stuff, they'll let you do it for them, but you kind of lose off, you kind of lose off, I guess, points on that because then you're expected to do it all the time. And then it's that whole that lost in translation cultural thing. Because once you start something, you can't just abruptly stop like you do back home and be like, F this, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? No, you got to keep it going. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen it for myself, and luckily I'm in a situation where that's not going on. But I do feel blessed in that sense. But it makes a difference too when you're dealing with somebody that is working and hardworking, and wants to be respected as a man in the relationship. What about you? What have been some things with lost in communication or cultural things that you've had to deal with?
Let me tell you. So I want to touch on a few things. So what Aisha, right? Am I pronouncing it right, Aisha?
Yeah.
Okay, one of the things she said is very accurate. Like, of course, I think that it's a perception that when they hear your accent and they see that you're American, that, okay, automatically money. I mean, a lot of people do classify us as having money because by certain standards, you may make more money than the average person here. But what she said was on point because I used to live in the grill and I would get overcharged for a lot of things in the grill. And a lot of times it's just about, if you're living here, you're just going to have to learn the hard way, honestly. Now I know what things cost. I know the different mannerisms, like almost like I know what to give, you know what I mean, the driver or whatever. But it's one of those things where when I lived in the grill, I got overcharged a lot. Even when I knew what something was, they still try to haggle me because they hear me speaking, before I knew what appropriate phrases to say to kind of blend in a little bit more. But when I moved to Montego Bay, now Montego Bay, I think it's not the country, but it's bigger than the grill, right? So I think that I got played a lot less here because I was all on guard when I moved here. I was like, okay, everybody gonna try to, overcharge me and do this and do that. And it wasn't the case at all. So that was definitely accurate. It just depends on if you're in a more touristy spot or not. But I will say this, these are a couple funny things. So the lost in translation thing, right? Literally, one of the funniest stories I have, or kind of a little chuckle. So I remember when I had first moved here and I was having some stomach pain. And I don't remember who I was talking to. It was a local lady. And I was just letting her know that like my stomach is hurting or whatever. And so she and I were having a conversation. I was like, my stomach is hurting. And she was like, hush. And she kept talking. And I'm like, I know she didn't tell me to hush. Like, what she thinks she's not like for real, lady? But what I found out was hush is an expression of like sympathy or like, oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be okay. So little things like that. Yeah. And so now I don't speak fluent patois, but I know what to say, you know, to kind of keep a conversation going or whatever, but I understand way more now. So the only thing that kind of gets weird is when there's a word I never heard of before, and then I just have to learn. So it's certain things like that. And I think that that can also go in relationships too, like you were kind of mentioning, Erica. Like sometimes it's certain things that your partner might say, and it's just all wrong because it's just a weird, you know, different meaning or whatever. Yeah. So
it's like, oh, we mean something else when we say that.
Yeah.
You sure that's what you mean? But I've learned to say,
when they say make instead of let, or can you, like, I'll make you do this. You're not gonna make me do anything, but actually they're saying, you know what I mean? Like, it's so, I'm like, yo, who you gonna make do what? Okay.
Right.
But you get used to it. Yeah.
You get used to it. Absolutely. Yes. Well, you know, I'm enjoying talking to you ladies. I'm gonna have to have y'all come back on because this is so much to uncover. It's really more than a quick 15-minute interview, but I wanted to have a bunch of you all on today just to give people a little taste of the diversity of the types of African American women that are living here and thriving on the island, going from me and Tina just being here on a tourist visa, trying to navigate, to you both living here full time, owning businesses. And then, like I said, Dr. Nicole is going to come on and talk about, get more in depth with some of the sexual things that are going on here on the island. Before you all go though, I would love you each to just give me a quick, like, word of advice, or it's just something you would give to anybody that is trying to even contemplate leaving the U.S. and moving to a place like Jamaica, or just being an expat period. Is there anything in particular you think that they should take heed to? Aisha, you want to give some advice?
Have an open mind and just do it, because you be at home and it's one thing after another that'll keep you back. Just go ahead and go do it, and keep an open mind. Sometimes you might be, yourself going back, but I mean, going back to the States, you just have to be open, and understand that the country that you think that you might want to move to, you experience it. It's okay not to like it, and it's okay to go home and start over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about you, Dee? Any words of advice?
Yeah, for sure. That was good, Aisha. Yeah, so I have 2 words of advice. The first one is, a lot of times people are thinking like, oh, how much do I need? Or am I going to have enough money? Or, oh, I need to wait until this, or, oh, I need to wait until that. Here's my thing. You do need to have a great plan. But if I waited for all my ducks to be in a row, I would still be in Atlanta right now today. You know what I mean? So my first piece of advice is plan, but everything's not going to go according to plan, but plan, and then set your intention, and then you do you. And my second bit of advice would be, it's great. Like, we have groups like the one that we're in, the Black Expats group in Jamaica, but this didn't exist when I was, planning my move. I was in other groups, right? And I lurked most of the time because I was trying to execute my little business plan and who my target demographic was and all of that. But a lot of times people would poke into the group and say, oh, I want to move to Negril, or, oh, I want to do this. And all these people who never even moved would shoot them the hell down. So here's my advice on that. It's great to ask for advice, especially from people who've been here or live here. But my thing is, take the meat and spit out the bones, right? Take what's good, but you can do anything. People told me, oh, you won't be able to find an apartment for so-and-so and by the sea. When I moved to Negril, that's what I had and the amount of money that I wanted. People told me so much things I wouldn't be able to do, but I'm doing it. So that's my advice. Take the advice, listen, but you can still prosper and be great, and you don't have to settle for anybody else's expectations.
Right. Yes, I appreciate that from both of you all, because I would say that for me, one thing I've learned is exactly what you said, Dee, is first of all, be careful about who you get the advice from. And then when you do get it, you know, like you said, spit out the bones and eat the meat, because there have been things that are people like, oh, you can't do that. It's going to be so difficult. You got to do this. You got to have that. And then I'm calling, like, girl, you'll be in and out of there in 10 minutes. Don't worry about that. And it's like, this other person had me scared. Like when I went to go apply for an extension to stay 3 more months, they were making it like it was just going to be this thing where it may not happen for you and this and that. And I'm like, it was nothing like what the people scared me about. Yeah. Just like, have your paperwork, have it ready, just go and do what you got to do. And it even happened even easier than I thought it would be. So, And like I said, my advice to any of y'all that are watching, that are checking out D and seeing what Aisha's doing, be open-minded that when you come to another land, you are living by the rules of that land. You got to kind of get rid of that American entitlement. Because as much as African Americans may feel in America that we, of course, we suffer with injustices and things of that nature. Sometimes we come to other places and start acting real like gentrifiers, and you can't do that. If you're gonna come to Jamaica, it's not rice and beans, it's rice and peas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta know, you gotta get immersed in the culture and respect the land and respect the people. Because if not, then just stay your ass where you at. And if you gonna come here trying to turn Jamaica into America, it's not gonna happen, babes.
I'll be happy when I get a Snicker.
You said what?
I said I'd be happy when I have a Snicker.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't expect it, but when I get one, I'll be happy as hell. I'll be like, oh shit.
Yes. Listen, honey, we gonna talk about it. But guys, let me tell you, if you are coming to Jamaica at any time, I want you to make sure that you all reach out to D and Aisha. D does the tropical paint parties. You can come and have a good time. I got the pictures behind us right now. That's of her fruit tasting party. But she's got, that's from the paint party. Here's some people that were tasting the fruit. I'm sorry I wasn't able to fix the pictures the right way so we could see them, but I'm gonna get rid of these technical difficulties. But I appreciate you both. Check out tropicalpaintparties.com, reach out to D, and then I want to make sure you all join the group on Facebook, the expat group. Come in there being positive with an open mind, and being serious about having your questions answered if you're thinking about doing an extended stay or living in Jamaica. It's not just a group you come in talking about, girl, I can't wait to meet me some fine men in Jamaica and get my party and freak on. I mean, we may talk about a couple of those kind of things, but if the group is really a resource for people that are thinking about possibly making Jamaica their home. So with that being said, I adore both of you all. Dee and I haven't met yet, even though she's one of the first people I did reach out to when I was coming here. I researched online and found her, and I read an article, I think, about you, Dee, is how I found you. So I'm hoping that you and I can connect soon and get together and drink. Yeah, absolutely.
I like to meet you too.
You know, I'm seeing you. So
we need to get together.
Thank you all. Yeah, and I might I'm gonna come to the meetup in February.
Oh, great. Yay. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Thank you both for being on the show and have cap with me. Cheers to you both for taking a chance and the leap of faith and jumping out there and living in Jamaica, living your best lives and having a great old time. Aisha with her water and Dee with her drink of her sorrel.
With her empty glass.
Yeah, and empty glass is done. It's finished. But yeah, I will probably have you all both on separately again on the show sometime so we can talk more about this stuff. But I appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. All right. Good night, ladies.
Good night.
Good night. Woo! I try my best to stay on schedule, y'all, but you know, with my technical difficulties and this internet, things are a little slow, but I'm very excited about my next guest. Like oh, and now I'm seeing a note from her, but I should have added her. You know what? This is the type of person I am. When I invite somebody on my show, I love to give them their time. Just because a lot of times people own brands and have businesses and those kind of things. But we should have had a big old all together girlfriend conversation, because I know that would have been fun. But me and Dr. Nicole about to have a good old time. I love me a smart chick. I love somebody that is brilliant. Dr. Nicole is so brilliant. Even her bio she sent me got real big words in it that I don't understand. So I'm not going to read all this shit because I'm going to fuck it up. But I do, I'm so excited to meet her because she is a Fulbright scholar. And there was a time when I was hoping that I would be able to get some type of travel grant or something from the US so that I could come here and do research on Black women and the diaspora and body image, and especially size acceptance. And I may still do some of that work because y'all know I have a one-woman show called Fat Bitch where I talk all about big girls and our bodies. And the fluffy body in Jamaica is very well loved. I will say that. And I'm gonna talk to Dr. Nicole about that too. But she's a Fulbright scholar. She is a professor. I want to read a little bit about her. She's an associate professor at the Department of Mass Communication at Lincoln University, HBCU. She has her Ph.D. in Mass Communications and Media Studies from Howard University. She has an MA in Moving Image Studies from Georgia State University. And she has her BA in Film Production from Howard University. So this is a bad chick right here, right? Her resume reads like a book, baby. But what I definitely want to talk about is the research that she's been doing on her being a Fulbright scholar. Her research engages the theory, practice, and epistemology, I can't pronounce that word, I'm gonna let her say it when she comes on here, of marginalized groups through interdisciplinary paradigms and the scholarship of teaching and learning. Damn, she's smart. I don't know what the hell that means, but I do know that she's doing a lot of critical study and work on Black female sexuality, and especially the way in which we are maneuvering sexually on the island of Jamaica. So without further ado, let's give it up for Dr. Nicole Files-Thompson. Come on in, Dr. Nicole. Hey.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
I'm great. No, I was sitting here like, yeah, girl, watching y'all.
Oh, goodness. And you know what? I should have brought you on, but I also knew that you and I were gonna get a little more real with our conversation. So I was like, I just want you all to myself. Let's just have our one-on-one time to talk. I'm loving your hair, first of all. And you are giving me that the glow everybody keeps telling me I have. I see it on you. I see your glow.
Thank you. Now, yes, I'm finally brown skin. That's I've been my whole life trying to get browner.
Yeah, I love it.
He actually put me on to a hairdresser who did my hair. So
are you serious? Yeah. Now, what area of Jamaica are you in?
I'm outside of Negril.
Okay.
So I was originally supposed to be in Kingston and Montego Bay, but my research is tourism studies. So it made more sense for me to be in this area. And I'm ecstatic about it because I didn't want to move from a city to another city. So this is like a slow, laid back pace down here. I'm loving it. So I'm right outside of Negril. And he was absolutely correct that everything is more expensive on this side because it's a tourist area.
Right. And I'm glad you all are making that point to me and bringing that up to me, that it's not just about people trying to overcharge you, where you are where the tourists are, and that's the way the game goes. So,
and so even, Jamaicans pay more for things here on this side of it. Just everything is, it's a give and take. It's been a lot different being here without tourists through this pandemic. So I'm also, you have to look at the positive sides of things. And so I got to learn a lot more about myself and Jamaica without the distraction of tourism and activity.
Wow. So when typically, I'm sure that when somebody hears, oh, she's doing research on tourism studies, they think you're just specifically talking about the way in which the resorts operate and how people go to the beach and, you know, tourism things and the economy. But you are also digging really deep into tourism and go into the side where people really don't necessarily talk about sex tourism, sexuality, the way in which people are maneuvering in their bodies on this island. I got to hear about it. So tell me about your research.
Okay.
And have you been researching me secretly? Because I done did some things on this island, girl, that probably need to be in a book. But go ahead.
Well, listen, there's no story that sounds that there's not a piece of it that I've heard before in all of these years. So I started my research in Jamaica on sex tourism because I'm a media studies person. And so I stumbled across some articles I was writing about how Stella got her groove back as a feminist text. And I stumbled on this research about sex tourism where they were, you know, saying, oh yeah, Black women go to Jamaica and are sex tourists too, just like, you know, white men go to Thailand and Black men go to Brazil. And it intrigued me because at that point I had been traveling to Jamaica with all different types of groups, family, friends, for years. And I didn't like how they were using a movie as the example of Black women's experiences. And there just generally is not a lot of research on Black women as tourists in their experiences. But you said tourism studies. I'm a communications professor, so I'm interested in intercultural communication, intercultural dynamics, how communication shapes the way tourists shape their identity, how they feel about themselves, their body image, their sexual expression, all of those things, how they change in a tourist space. So my big entrance to Jamaica research was researching Black women and their experiences, romantic experiences with Jamaican men while they were tourists.
Woo, woo, girl. Honey. Now, you know, I went to film school as well. I'm a filmmaker, a writer. And I've been writing about my experiences. And a lot of it is heightened fictional versions of some of the stuff I've gone through. But you are studying the real deal. In fact, it's always more dangerous than fiction. I want to know, like, what are some of the things that you discovered that even made you clutch your pearls?
It's hard to make me clutch my pearls.
Okay, well, I was gonna say.
It's hard to make me clutch my pearls because I've always been intrigued by sexuality since I was young. So if I didn't experience it myself, I was finding friends or groups or people that were doing things that were different. I just wanted to know. So that helped me in interviewing Black women to say, you know, there's nothing that you're going to say that I haven't heard, or if I haven't heard it, I'm still not going to, you know, this is a no judgment zone. Live your best life, and living your best life, it includes being able to be liberated sexually. But some of so there were lots of women that I talked to that didn't actually have sex in Jamaica. A lot of the discussions were about just how they felt more sexy or experimental, but a lot of women that did have sex, they they engaged in more risky behaviors. And I say risky as in I met a guy and he took me to the hills. And I would never, I'm in a foreign country. What am I doing going off with a man that I just met? I've interviewed women who only have sex when they come to Jamaica. I have interviewed women that have sex with a different man every night when they come to Jamaica. At first threesomes, there were some marriages, that came out of some experiences, the whole gamut, really. But it all revolved around this aspect of feeling more able to explore. So wearing short shorts or a bikini, and they would never wear it if they went to the beach in Florida. The response that men give them to their body, they felt was a lot different. Some of it was a lot of comparison between African American men and Jamaican men, and this kind of negotiation that they ascribed innate sexuality to Jamaican men that gave them passes that they wouldn't give American men. And some of that is loaded in, you know, stereotypes of, you know, the big bamboo and all of that. But what I really love about talking to women about their experiences here is the empowerment aspect. Empowerment meaning the power to do. I chose to do this or to not do this, but I felt like I had agency in all of the various ways that did not always include sex, but I love seeing how women just get a glow about them when they're in these Jamaican streets.
In these Jamaican streets.
Jamaican streets, yeah.
You know, that's been one of the things that people have said to me the most since I've been here, when they see pictures or whatever. And mind you, my pictures aren't glamorous or over the top. I'm just putting the stuff up of me at the river or me on the beach or just at a restaurant. And everybody's like, oh my God, your glow. Like one Facebook post I put up, I got about 1,000 responses of everybody kept saying the glow, your skin, the glow. And I started thinking about it. I just think it's something in the atmosphere. I think something in the water. I think something in that mango and that sour sop I've been eating. It probably is something in the dick I've been getting as well. Just keeping it real. I think that in this place, I feel sexier because I feel that I'm able to have a freedom here expressing myself in the body that I'm in that is met with a lot of contention or whatever in the US. Being, you know, somebody saying, a fluffy, what wagwan fluffy girl is not a diss. Maybe somebody could mean it that way, but I feel they'll be like, oh, Jamaican men love fat women. No, I think Jamaican men love all women and appreciate all complexions and all body types. You know, one of my girls that was here with me during this time, she came for a little while. She's a chocolate girl. She's beautiful to me, but in the States feels like she's never the first choice. And she's always the second, third, fourth, fifth choice because of her complexion. But she got here and she was like, bitch, they're loving my chocolate skin here. And I'm like, well, how dare they not? They should. And we should be loving it in the States. And I understand, you know, I don't want to get too much into the colorism issue, but I fully understand what it feels like when there's a part of the way you come out into the world and it's rejected. For me, it might be body. I don't have the perfect body. I'm a bigger girl. So I may not have complexion complexities within the scope of African Americans, but definitely body size can be an issue. But then I get here and for every pot, there's a lid. Everybody likes what they like here. And I say, go where you're celebrated. So wherever it is where people are going to love you and adore you and treat you right and treat you as the sexy human being that you are, go there. And for me, it's Jamaica. It's pretty much the islands, period. For me, is where I'm celebrated. So that's why I like being here. I'm celebrated for other things in the US, but I find that I don't fit the perfect mold of perception of what is a beautiful woman based on body size. So, but they're like, oh, you're talented, you're funny, you're intelligent. I get all of that, but it feels good sometimes to just walk down the street and somebody be like, hey, gal, you're sexy. Like, you know, well, go on fluffy. Like, I want to they want to love you up and feel on you and love you, and I'm cool with that. So I'm enjoying myself here. But what do you think is the magic? What is it? Is it the water? Is it the sun? Is it the freedom of being able to just be who you are here that makes people feel sexy?
Well, a lot of it has to do with, when you're away from home, there's a lot of parameters that are let go. And so even relationship development happens faster when you're on vacation, whether it's people that you meet at your hotel or, people you meet in a Facebook group. Relationship development happens faster because you have less time, right? But then there's also the same thing, the slogan of Vegas, what happens here stays here. Nobody's going to know, right? So not being out at the club and at your hometown and meeting someone and being afraid that they're going to know someone that knows someone, that's taken away. But then, yes, the tourism part of the allure of tourism, and this is in Jamaica and this is in most warm climate beach destinations, they sell the sexiness of it, right? So it's part of the enticing people to come here. You've seen Jamaica commercials, beautiful bodies, and then also people drink more, smoke more weed when they're on vacation, right? So there's a lot of factors that go into it, but also it's the way that Jamaicans are communicating with African American women that they perceive to, they feel more beautiful, more accepted, more willing to show their body.
Well, I've had some
shaking your head. Yes. Uh-huh.
Like, well, I do find it interesting though. Like I have some male friends here that are just platonic, like cool, some guys that I've known because I've been coming to the island for 20 years. But some of them will say, oh, American women, the tourists, they're coming here for fun. A lot of them are married. They take their rings off. They come in here to have sex and have a good time. And several times they've said to me, American women, they're very friendly. They're very friendly. They use the word friendly all the time. And at first I just thought they meant, oh, American women are friendly. Like we say hi and a smile. But no, they mean that American women are just passing out pussy everywhere. Pussy. Like it's like their friendliness is just like, hey, how are you? You want to fuck? Okay. And I'm like, I don't think that's every Black American woman necessarily, but I do find that there are some Jamaican men that feel that way, like, oh, the American girls are coming here for sex. And so, and then sometimes people will, like, I had a cab driver that, I was playful with and would talk to him and, he would drive me around places, but he took the playfulness to a different level and actually like groped my breast without asking me. And then he had to see South Side of Chicago, Erica, and I had to get real black on his ass real quick. And it was like, oh, well, I thought, the tourists, you girls come here ready to play. And I'm like, nigga, I just wanted to ride. Just take me to Dr. Cave Beach. I wasn't trying to have sex with you. We're just like, come on. So I feel like depending on how it's done, it can be a little off-putting or dangerous too when people have those perceptions of you. So how do we navigate that?
Well, so you're absolutely right. I won't act as if there's no instances of sexual assault or those are things that you hear. And actually, if you go to, the State Department website and travel advisories, it's going to say stuff like that. But I think that perhaps even Black women, we have always had to be kind of hypervigilant, protecting ourselves, right? So the same logic, the same no that you would use if you were in the club in Atlanta. You walking through the club in Atlanta and you get gropes, and it's either a stop or then you might have to fight. But I think in terms of perceptions, yes, there are, and there's research done on this, on the part of, you mentioned gigolo earlier. There's a lot of research on gigolos in tourism destinations and how they're very astute at knowing what specific nationalities want as tourists. And so it's interesting that you say, oh, American women come and they want to have sex, but there's a study that rates them least, Black American women least likely to actually have sex, according to gigolos here, Beach Boys. But again, it goes back to being a tourist. I tell my students like this because when I say, oh, I research, some of my research has been about women and their experiences having sex in Jamaica, and people are like, and I'm like, but you don't. When someone says spring break in Daytona Beach, you assume there's sex happening, right? So people are still people, and when they go, sex is part of relaxation, right? So whether they're having sex with other people at the hotel, with locals, they're meeting to hook up, it's because sex relaxes people. Sex goes with vacation, fun, party, drinking, letting my guard down, letting my hair down, being away from home. And so it shouldn't surprise people that women have sex, and I'm going to say women generally have sex on vacation. And also, yes, so when you're in the store at home and you have things to do other than get back to your lounge chair, then you're going to ignore the guys saying, hey, how you doing? You look good today. But if you don't have nothing else to do today, I'm going to entertain you. You'll flirt a little bit more. And if you have a little bit more game than I thought, it might end up as something. So I think it's really perceptions both ways.
Yes.
How we perceive Jamaican men to be and how they perceive us to be in negotiating that. And if you feel disrespected, and you should say something.
Right.
It's interesting. I had a conversation once with someone about what's the difference between being in downtown Brooklyn and being on the hip strip in Montego Bay. Talking about getting catcalls. It's because, in Brooklyn, you got shit to do.
Yes.
So it comes off a little different. And
also for me, typically in Bed-Stuy, I'm being catcalled by a snagger-tooth homeless man. It's a little different for me when I'm in Brooklyn. It's somebody coming that I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, you should have a priority, sir. You should have other things going on than trying to holler at me. But definitely though. I didn't think about that though, Dr. Nicole. Just the fact that being on vacation period relaxes you. It's a different state of mind. You don't have the woes of worrying about where do I have to get to go to work. I got to go home and cook for the kids. I got to go do whatever. And just that change of mindset will leave you a little more open to the catcalls and the flirtiness and stuff that comes your way. Wow.
All of the loaded implications.
Yes.
Gone, right? So if you're going to decide to have sex with someone, all of your norms, societal norms, he's supposed to take me on a date. I'm supposed to have this many dates. I'm supposed to like him. And he's supposed to like me. I'm supposed to know more about him before I have sex.
That's
Those
right.
things, when you're only going to be here for 7 days, you don't have time for all that.
In 8 days.
Right.
So a 4-night, 5-day trip.
Yes.
You gotta
I don't know how people come here for 4 days. Anybody that asks me how long to come, I'm like, oh, you're coming for the weekend to Jamaica? You're going to be mad.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, some of my male friends have said they do not let their wives or girlfriends come to Jamaica without them. Like, they're like, no. And I mean, even when I put my post up about what this show was going to be about today, the main thing I kept seeing is then writing underneath, that's why my wife ain't going. No, she ain't coming. On the other side of that, I hear couples have a really good time here together with their sexual exploits. So it's very interesting to me. But yeah, so is it safe for men to let their wives and girlfriends come to Jamaica alone, or do all of us hop off the plane looking for Dexter St. Jacques?
Well, listen, the let. So I'm
right. Yes.
Feminist.
I said that let like that for a reason.
That let, and you know, I've heard it before. This is not something new that I've heard. And so I'm married. My husband is not Jamaican.
Okay.
I live in Jamaica. My husband lives in the States. And it wasn't a matter of if he's gonna let me. When I got this Fulbright, he was like, "Go on and get it. Now we can be in 2 countries, right?" So, and this is something that I always kind of, I'm blessed to have had a confidence in myself and early, so that I could see things as red flags and what was not going to work. But if you're the type that wants to go on vacation and travel, and you solo travel, you girls trip, and that's something that brings you joy, and you meet a man that doesn't think that that's okay, then that's not the right nobody should be trying to steal joy from you, especially a man that you're gonna be committed to. So that's my attitude about like, I did it. I would tell, and insecure, you know, you're a little insecure if you're afraid of your what, like what's gonna happen? What are you afraid is gonna happen? Or what are you afraid what you would do if you was there off the leash?
Yes. Well, I think so, they hear about the sexual abilities of Jamaican men. And, you know, I guess Jamaican men have these magical penises. And the girls even here, you know, they come out the womb whining, whine girl, whine your body. So I think people have this perception that the Jamaicans are just hypersexual. So, and if my wife gets there, you know, Dexter or Winston might grab a hold to her and do all the things that I don't do. I don't know what their issue is, but it just was interesting to me that so many Black men I know that are married really have a problem with their wives coming to Jamaica on a girls' trip or something like that. I was surprised by it. Yeah, I really was.
So, and I will say, just because this is how we talk about Jamaican men, how they talk about themselves, how we, you know, in the music, just added this hyper sexual, hyper masculinity, right? Yes. That there's, you know, it's attached to them. That's the perception. And I mean, perceptions work both ways though, too. So, you know, as much as you want to say, oh, Jamaican men are this, and that, from what you heard in music on TV, the same thing can be said about Black men at home from our music.
Yes.
That hold true, don't hold true.
It sure will hold true. And I keep that in mind with here. I'm just like, you know, perception can be reality, and sometimes it's a falsehood in there. You're like, nah, across the board, everybody doesn't fit that mold. I will say that with me talking to some of the women I know here that are, especially the ones that have really been exploring their sexuality and having multiple partners, and like you're saying, throwing caution to the wind because they're on vacation or they're somewhere else operating a little differently than they normally would back at home. Many of them have even, there's some dogs out here acting crazy. Lord, I don't know if y'all can hear the barking, but these dogs in Mo Bay they fighting.
The dogs everywhere in Jamaica. They have gangs, dog gangs.
These are some gangster ass dogs in Jamaica. But talking to some other women, some of them will say that they feel like sex here is a lot more transactional than maybe back home culturally. And I've asked, like, well, what do you mean by that? And they'll all say it's very, oh, I like you, you like me, let's just fuck. And then it really will be nothing more than that. I'm like, well, they do that in the States as well. I mean, that happens any and everywhere where people are having casual sex. So it's been very interesting that several women have said that to me here. And then they've also said that they feel that there's some lacking of intimacy for them when they've had sex. It has been the bang, 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 fuck, 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 fuck has been very, very wonderful for them. But then when they get into relationships, that continues, and it's like there isn't a lot of loving, caressing, kissing, or there's the idea of sex being something that's pleasurable for the woman just as much as the man, making sure that the woman has orgasms, stuff like that. I've talked to some women here that are Black Americans that have said it's been really, once they get into a one-on-one relationship with a man here, trying to explain to him, like, this ain't just about you busting a quick anything or the bang, bang, bang. I need to orgasm as well. And I was like, I would think pleasuring a woman would be something that any man anywhere would want to do when they've reached a certain level of maturity. It's interesting that these people are saying across the board culturally, there's no interest in making sure a woman's body is pleased. And if anything, sometimes the female body parts here can be seen as very negative. Even the big curse word here, bomboclot, or those things are all in relation to being dismissive of a Black female body. So I'm wondering, have you in your research, have those kind of things come up at all with people talking about what happens?
It's important to remember that, so people have the impression that Jamaica is this sexually liberated place, and it's not, right? There are a lot of things that are still taboo, things that people might do but don't talk about it, like oral sex, right?
Yeah.
So I think that impact, those cultural taboos, they exist. And, culturally, you can even see, evolution in, America of things that people would do hush hush that now they wouldn't think is weird, right? So, I think people a lot of times think that there's a sexual liberation happening, that it shouldn't be hypersexuality and its connection to masculinity should be not confused with sexually liberal and free and exploratory. So I would say that about that, but I'd also want to just back up a little bit, something that you said, talking about expectations. What I try to tell women, and something that I talk about with women about when they do enter relationships here, I think that a lot of times we're only thinking about ourselves and our cultural differences, and forget that as much as we're navigating cultural difference, so are they, right? Yes. So, and the fears and anxieties, if you're an American woman here and you fall in love and you're gonna go home, the fear and anxiety of that, you could go home and never come back. You could go home and want them, right? Yep. And so people are, women tend to be like, I don't trust them. Instead, well, why would they trust that someone living in another country? Like it's a two-way street. It's an intercultural exchange on both ends, and keeping that in mind, that it's thinking of the other person, right, and their cultural navigation with you. And so I just say, you were talking about with Dee and Aisha about cultural things that get kind of crossed. Yeah, that happens even in intimate partner relationships, right? So how you would talk to a man at home about something that would sexually please you is not going to come across the same way, right? So there's some care that has to be given into, intercultural communication, even in intimate partner relationships. And just, remembering and giving people the benefit of the doubt. And I like that Aisha said that, you know, people think that Jamaican men want to just use American women and all of these things that they're fighting against, these negative stereotypes, especially as Black people. We need to always be doing better about our assumptions about other Black folks.
Yeah.
And critically and more deeply about, well, it's problematic that the big bamboo is a thing to describe Black men, right? It stems from slavery, right? So just thinking about these things as a diaspora of Black people. And so there are definitely cultural differences with nationality, but you were talking about don't be colonizers, don't be gentrifiers, but also a lot of it is national, right? So
yes,
Americanness sometimes gets the better of us being better people in Jamaica.
You are so right. Yes. You know, and when I said that, I'm thinking about the people that I know that will come here and be here for an extended time, but do nothing but complain about the culture. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but they, you know, everything is a problem. Why do this? Why do that? I'm like, you are in these people's land. When in Rome, do as Roman. So if you've got that much of a problem with it, maybe you shouldn't be considering being here long term. We're definitely not trying to live here forever. Not saying that you can't complain about something, but there's this disdain and like criticizing every little thing in comparison to Jamaica. Even when some people here I've taught you, they're like, oh, I'm going to come in, I'm going to start a business doing that. And I'm like, but does Jamaica have a need for that business? Will the people there even want that thing?
Mm-hmm.
You need to create something based on the need that is here and not just assuming, oh, because we like it on the south side of Chicago, I'm gonna come to Jamaica and I'm gonna open I don't know what it could be. And it's like, they may not even want that here. I just think that sometimes as Americans, we, you know, our worldview is that we're the center of it. And it's interesting that as much as Black Americans in America will feel that they are treated wrongly in the social injustices, there is still a feeling of entitlement that many of us have as Black Americans, even when we go somewhere else. So it's really interesting.
Well, we have a privilege, and that was something that I got deeper into in my interviews with women, because they talked a lot about, so they wanted to distance themselves from whiteness and white tourists, and part of it was, I have a chapter called I'm American, but I'm not rich. Well, you are rich.
Because I find myself saying that a couple times a week.
Yeah. And so again, it's just kind of stepping back and saying, yeah, the privilege is you saved all year to come here on this vacation, but you had discretionary income to do so, right?
To do so, exactly.
And you also, you know, when you go out with your girlfriends and are spending $50 on a meal, that's not, you know, there's economic differences. And so when you're like, they look at us all like we're rich. Well, yes, American privilege is that US dollars, we make more income, right? We make more. And even if you do it like to scale, right? Minimum wages comparatively, it's not equal. And so I think that a lot of times the feeling like, you know, they just want to use you or they just want to get to America, that's also kind of the privilege too, because the grass is not greener. People are, you know, as much as we don't want to be there, there's people that are like, I would never, ever, ever want to go.
Ever have a desire to go. Yes. And then I also think, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, I also feel sometimes, especially a woman like me, like a plus size girl saying, oh, I'm in Jamaica. I fallen in love with this really hot, sexy, amazing guy that is beautiful, and he loves me to death and will do anything for me. People say, "Oh, because he's using you." But then another girl that may be stereotypically considered what is the standard of beauty in the United States, if she goes somewhere and says, "Oh, this fine, sexy, chocolate, gorgeous ass man is in love with her," it's like, "Oh, girl, that's so exciting." And it's like, it's love over here. And he don't want to come to America. So it just is. I found myself being very quiet about my relationship and what I had going on, period. Anyway, I feel that's better for me. But because the first thing on people's mind is like, "Oh, girl, has he been to the States before?" Because the undertone is, you're getting used, right? And I'm like, do you know that it's Jamaican people that got more money than all of y'all put together? There's people over here doing very even what the people here do with their money, as far as building a home and doing the things. I have Jamaican friends that are living in much more lavish homes than my folks back at home, people I know. So just this perception that people are in Jamaica poor and ain't got nothing, no education, and they just all are dying to get to America. It's like, once you come here really and live, you will find out that is not the case. No.
Well, so there's two parts of that. The first part I can identify with those thoughts that you've had and hearing those things as a big girl too, and not just in Jamaica, but just in general in relationships. I think that because of the way that we are conditioned to believe, to think about fatness, right? Yeah. But it's hard for people to understand that, again, this is American superiority, right? So it's hard for people to understand that not the whole world feels about things, about bodies, about people, about sexuality, about what makes someone beautiful in the same way that we've been conditioned to think about it at home. So girl, you got to, you can live quietly or you can, let people talk and have their shit don't take people's shit and put it on you. Right.
Yes.
So
absolutely right.
Their shit, if somebody is saying that, that's their shit with them. That's making them, because what does it matter to you? Either motive. Your motive, you could have motives too. Right. So it's none of their business. So let them keep shit with them and their opinions and chase your happiness. There was something I was gonna say to yes, you were talking about not all, Jamaica has a diverse, socioeconomic realm, right? And so one of the things that, because I'm here I'm a professor, I'm, at the university, I live in a, middle-class neighborhood. And so I think very much so, especially when people come on vacation, right? They come and they go, they get their ride to the resort and they see poverty, but they don't get to engage with Jamaica as a country of diversity. So, and again, this is American superiority, that there's universities here. One of the things how I got connected to the university here is because I'm at a HBCU. I believe in HBCU education, and the university here, and I'm in communications, they have doctoral programs that I'm trying to, you can go and get your doctorate here. Most of the people that I know from Jamaica in my field went to the University of West Indies here. So, right. So there's this is the third world attitude, as if there's nothing but poverty and tourism and nothing in between. There's no industry, there's no commerce, there's no matter of fact, I'm sitting in my neighborhood and I'm like, my husband's been laughing at me because, I'm like, I got this little rental car and I look at all the people in my neighborhood and their Porsches and this and that, and I'm like, I want to be driving a Lexus, right?
Exactly.
So, you know, and they also
live in a 3-story home. I mean, these homes here are beautiful.
Yes.
You know, the area I'm in is one of the upscale areas of Bo Bay, and my neighbors are all the majority. There are foreigners that have villas and homes here, but every house here has a pool, a gorgeous pool. Every house here has servants and guard dogs, and the overwhelming majority of them are owned by Black people, Jamaicans. So it's very interesting to me when I'm walking through this neighborhood. It's like when you think about Wakanda and Black excellence, I'm living in it in Montego Bay in many ways. Like, you don't even necessarily have to preference, oh, Black owned business, the way we have to do at home, because here it's the island of 90% Black folks and the businesses are owned by Black folks. So it's very
well, I would say in some sectors,
in some
tourism areas, yes. So if you're coming in the grill, you need to ask if it's a Black owned business.
Yes, I get it. And
I'm in some groups. I've learned so many. That's one of my learning curves. Coming and studying tourism, and you know what hotels are not Black owned, and even Jamaican owned. Forget Black; most of them aren't even Jamaican owned.
Right.
So that is actually what my Fulbright research, how I got here, is to study more of that dynamic. How do Jamaicans how are they able to see more direct economic benefit from the tourism industry here? Because so much is not owned by Jamaicans. It's interesting, but I will say, going back to the Wakanda and everything here, being here in Jamaica was the best #1 move of self-care that I could have ever done. He said when people say they want to move here, and they're like, well, Jamaica needs, and they need to do this, and you know, the lifestyle is different here. The need for things is not the same. They don't need things, lots of things. And so I would encourage people thinking about businesses, not to think about what American business, but what do Jamaicans need, like you said, because they don't need the same things or want the same things as we're conditioned to need more and new. Right, something breaks and you automatically go to Amazon and get a new one instead of figuring out how the old thing, just piecing it back together.
Right.
Yeah. So I admire business owners and all of the women that came before me on the show and started their own businesses, and me trying to figure out my long-term. I'm like, business seems like the way to go. I'm hesitant though. So I'm working on a couple of things with, you know, cultural tourism and educational tourism. I do study abroad here. But yeah, I'm thank you for bringing us together tonight. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I could talk to you for hours. Like, I'm definitely, you sent me a link to, I think, a couple chapters of your book, and I'm going to read it. I definitely want to have you come back on the show sometime very soon, whenever you're free, so we can talk even more about this, and actually even, you know, shedding even more light for people, especially for Black women that may want to come here and live here and thrive here. I'd love to get in a deeper conversation with you, but So I forgot to ask you, what were you drinking for your nightcap? Did you have a nightcap?
I was drinking rum punches are gone.
Oh.
And I was sipping slow girl, waiting for my turn. I said, I don't want to be drunk when I start, since this is all public and I'm a whole professor.
Right.
I said, I don't need to be drunk, but rum punch. So, but I'm gonna check out your girl. I'm gonna go look for it tomorrow. Actually, Matic.
Yeah, the Matic.
I'm gonna go looking for her so I can support. Yes.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Yes, I'm drinking rum punch. Ray and nephew are my friends.
Yes, Ray and oh my yes. Well, I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. From being in the expat group, and when I saw you, you are actually one of the people that inspired me to want to do this particular episode. When I saw you and saw all that you were doing, and the fact that you are researching tourism and sex tourism, I was like, I gotta do a show about this. So yeah, I think what you're researching is wonderful. It's so interesting, and it's good to have a Black woman studying us and our behaviors and coming from your perspective, because it's always some other that's analyzing us and the things we do. So for to have a frame of reference of a woman like you that also think you're so cool and just open-minded. You're probably a lot of my friends that are professors are like you. People give professors like this, like you all.
Yes.
All stuff. But when I was at the University of Illinois in Champaign, Illinois, I took a class on pornography, and my friends in some other schools like, what are you studying at this white school, pornography? And I'm like, but sexual behaviors and stuff, it's interesting. And the fact that most of us do it, we're having sex, and we don't even know a lot about, we don't even know what we're doing. A lot of us don't. So I was like, I love meeting people like you that are very smart and are just doing research that other people are not paying attention to. It's so needed. So I appreciate you and all that you're doing, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.
Yes, I do want to shout out Black women looking for a way to live abroad. Apply for a Fulbright. You do not have to be a professor to get a Fulbright grant. You can do photography, documentaries, music. You can be a chef. There's a lot of opportunity through Fulbright. So I just want to shout that out as a way.
Yes. And congratulations to you for being a Fulbright scholar. That is amazing.
Working at number 2. Fingers crossed. Pray for me.
Fingers crossed. You're gonna get it. You're definitely gonna get it. But yeah, thank you. Cheers to you for all that you're doing. I hope that you and I can meet sometime soon.
I'll see you in February. I'm gonna come to the meetup.
Oh yeah. Good. So then we'll see each other in February then. Absolutely. And you're just brilliant. I love a smart.
Thank you.
I love it. And I'm wishing you well on all of your research and things you do. And I can't wait to see bigger and better things. I know you're going to write more books. Hopefully you'll do a documentary since you are a filmmaker as well. So
in my past life.
My past life. Well, because like I said, I'm writing a script right now, a sitcom actually, about my experiences. And it's a heightened version of my life. So it's totally an exaggeration of it. But just my particular situation has been hilarious being here. And the cultural differences involved in loving somebody that's from a different country is hilarious. So I'm hoping, and I'm also writing a short film that I'm hoping Jamaica will let me shoot here, or I'm just going to renegade and just do it. A 10-minute short.
Well, so yes, producer, yes.
Yes. So I'll talk to you more about it.
We can make it happen. That's what my study abroads were doing. They were doing travel journalism, travel videography. So I learned all of the rules about where you can have the drones, where you can't, where you got to get permission, where ask for forgiveness, not permission, all of those.
I'm learning to do that in a lot of aspects of my life. Just forgive me. I'm sorry, but I ain't gonna ask you, can I do it? I'll ask forgiveness afterwards. Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Nicole. I adore you. I think what you're doing is awesome, and I can't wait to just get to know you more. And if there's ever anything I can do for you to help you with the research you're doing or be a resource to you, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I think what you're doing is awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'll see you soon, girl.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Woo! I love a smart black man, don't y'all? That was so cool. So that's my show. This is season 2 of Nightcap with Erica, episode 1. And I know my show is usually really wild and crazy and everything, but I wanted it. I'm in Jamaica and I'm feeling very airy, man. Feeling very laid back and relaxed. I wanted to do a show that wasn't so hyped and crazy, but trust me, we'll be back to some nastiness next week. Also, y'all can't see me. I'm at the villa and the pool is behind me. Did they turn the lights off down there at the pool? I wanted you all to see all of this. See my sexy pool that I want to go get in tonight, but I won't. At the villa where I'm staying. So yeah, this is a great show. Once again, I want to thank all of my guests. I gotta show love again to Letona from Mountain Matic Rum. I want to encourage you all to please make sure that you support her. Let me find the IG link, and here it is again. The Mountain Matic Jamaican Rum Punch. This is my favorite. Mwah. But all their flavors are wonderful. So there's her Instagram. Make sure you all reach out, especially if you're going to be coming to Jamaica to visit. And remember, this show wasn't me trying to convince y'all to leave the U.S. and go somewhere. Do you? I was in a situation where my life was depending on me getting away from the U.S. I miss my family. Those of y'all that know me know I'm very close to my brother's children. I've cried several times being here because I miss them so, and I legitimately am longing for them. And it's a deep relationship that I have with them. But TT gotta live and get her groove back, and I'm sure they will appreciate the changes that I've been making in my life. This glow that's on me is real. I'm super happy. I thank God for my transformation that I've been going through here, all the writing I've been doing, and just being happy. But wherever you are, make that Jamaica. Whether you're on the south side of Chicago, down in Memphis, you in Texas, or somewhere in Cali, New York, wherever you are, make where you are a paradise. Because even when I come home, I'm gonna have to do that. So special thanks to my guests. Special thanks to Mountain Matic Rum. Yeah, and with that being said, I'm gonna say goodbye to y'all. I want you to also see everything that's going underneath here. Support my show. I took a bit of a hiatus because I was here getting well, but I'm back now. But it does take a lot for me to be able to produce the show and get things going. And like I said, I do all of my own editing and everything and all the graphics. I do it all. It's time for me to grow up and outsource and get people to help me do the show. So if you can support Nightcap with Erica, if you had a good time and enjoyed it tonight, feel free to leave me a little tip. Leave Miss Pound Cakes a little stripper tip. If you can, at on my, I think I gave you all my Venmo, and then also my Patreon, where you can actually subscribe to support me every month. I would really appreciate it because I love y'all and I want to be able to keep doing this show and giving you a really good show. Look at my new banners I just made for myself. Can y'all see this? Yes, got my Nightcap with Erica sign. I made that. I designed, well, the Nightcap logo I didn't design, but the picture of me and all that and put it together. I got another one too. This one is cute. Yes. So sisters out here working hard. You can cash at me. You can send me a little a love offering on Venmo. But what's really important to me, guys, is that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. and get the notification so you can know when the show goes live. I'm going to be every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. my time where I am in Eastern Standard Time. And the show is going to be good. Next week, I plan on doing a whole show about vaginas and coochie health and us taking care of our coochies. And we're going to have some really interesting people on to talk about it. And of course, we'll get back to the fellatio classes and all the other little nasty stuff y'all like. But yeah, next week is about making sure your coochie is in its ultimate care and healthy and smiling, because you can't have angry vaginas and depressed pussy. Don't nobody want no depressed pussy. You want a happy, smiling coochie. And my pussy's smiling right now for a lot of different reasons. Yeah, it just, you know, I'll tell you what I've been doing lately to make it smile. But subscribe to my YouTube. Go to Erica Faye Watson on YouTube channel and subscribe and share my show with people. Tell them about it. If you enjoyed the show tonight, if you thought it was fun and cool, if you like me, you think I'm funny, whatever it is, show me love. You don't have to send me $2 or $3. I would love that, but you don't have to do that. I really, really mainly want people to spread the word, because don't I deserve a show on a network somewhere? Don't I deserve that big Conan money, that big Johnny Carson money? I'm showing my age, talking about Johnny Carson. Yeah, so with that being said, I love y'all. I hope y'all had a great time watching the show tonight. And yeah, remember, I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m. We're talking about coochies, and men should tune in. It's not just about me talking about the way in which women can keep their own selves healthy. Sometimes our coochies and stuff ain't healthy because of the penises we be dealing with. And we're going to talk about that. Men need to take care of themselves. Penis care. Maybe I should just make it pussy and penis care. I said I was going to stop cursing so much on the show too. I'm working on that. But yeah, and you know, all of us, sexual health is important. So I want to talk about it in a fun and cool way. And then I also have some pole dancing too. We'll talk more about that. So I love y'all. I will see you later. And thanks for watching Nightcap with Erica. And remember, whether you're in Jamaica or in the States, follow Matic _rum, and show them some love. We got to show this Black girl some love. Now I'll be drinking this every episode. Love y'all. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Jamaica's own Mountain Matic rum. Seriously smooth. Tonight's episode is sponsored by Jamaica's own Mountain Matic rum. Seriously smooth.